CV Boats presents Florida Sport Fishing, television for the avid angler, powered by Mercury Marine. Oh, yeah. On this episode of Florida Sport Fishing.
Gonna spend the day doing a lot of jig fishing. Oh, there's one right there, right there.
Florida Sport Fishing TV proudly utilizes and endorses Maxell 2-speed big game reels, exceptional performance with silky smooth carbon drags and heat-treated stainless steel gears. The future of fish fighting is here. VMC Coastal Black Hooks, engineered to withstand saltwater. Tropic Trailer, Florida's largest dealer, has the right trailer at the right price. Motor Guide, precise maneuverability equals better fishing.
Welcome to Florida Sport Fishing TV. We're aboard our CV390Z. It's mid-November. We're outside of Boca Inlet right here. Gonna spend the day doing a lot of jig fishing, focusing on slow pitch jigging. We're also gonna do some high-speed vertical jigging. And that's an area where there's just a tremendous amount of interest right now in the industry. And guys are really looking for a lot of good, valuable information. And that's what our goal is here today, to share that info with you and what the difference is between this slow pitch gear and the high-speed vertical jigging that everybody's really accustomed to. While we're jig fishing, we also like to maximize on really any opportunity. So we also have some live baits out. The neat thing about this jig fishing is you're not really targeting one specific fish. It's more of a tactic where right off the bottom, you may catch a snapper, you may catch grouper. Throughout the water column, blackfin tunas, bonitas, skipjacks, Atlantic bonitas, king mackerel. Of course, there's always an opportunity at a wahoo, maybe even a sailfish or a dolphin. That's what's really cool about this. It's anything that eats a live bait will eat a slow pitch jig. So really a versatile tactic that can be employed in just about any depth. We're gonna jump around the different depths, see what we can find, see what the conditions are like, and really try and get dialed in. So stick around, see if we get hooked up.
I think this is on the cranky.
On the cranky? It's a good jig.
The cranky jig. They seem to like that one.
There we go. Little football. This is one of those species where typically we'll catch these little tunas, these little football blackfins up on the edge, in anywhere from 100 to 200 feet. But yet here we are in 500 feet of water and jigging is right off the bottom. A lot of guys, don't know that these tuna fish are out here and mixed size. You'll get a lot of these football size fish and you'll get some bigger ones as well, but look at that. Yep, that's the cranky right there.
You can see how we hit it.
Slammed it right there.
They're down there.
Oh yeah,
sand eels and
everything.
Bait is down.
Squid and shrimp, and that's the thing. They're not all going to be 20, 25 pounds out here, but they are mixed in, those bigger ones. So you've got to kind of weed through the little footballs to get through the big ones. Hey, calm down, calm down. Okay.
It's
called the tuna wiggle. That's
really the tuna wiggle.
That's the tuna wiggle right there. Just an absolutely beautiful specimen. We're gonna let this guy go. Drop down, see if we catch another one.
The award-winning Z Performance line from CV raises the bar. It's not just fast. It's not just fuel efficient. The CV-Z is the entire package. It offers the perfect balance, safe, predictable handling during hard turns and at high speed. And most importantly, the Z stays on plane at lower speeds, so it can comfortably handle anything Mother Nature can dish out. Experience the exhilarating ride of the CV-Z. Schedule a sea trial today.
Another one on the jig. Woo!
That's Grouper Dynamo.
Yeah! How's that for a sea monster?
Chaos Gear Matters. Shop online or visit our new superstore for everything fishing.
Fiberglass. They use it to build boats and yachts because of its strength and durability. And that's exactly what every Frigid Rigid cooler is made out of. This is my set after 12 years, and I keep them outdoors. With industrial grade rubber gasket and stainless steel hinges with backing plates, not a single component has failed on any of them. Can you honestly say that about your coolers? From 35 to 300 quarts, there's a Frigid Rigid cooler, coffin box, or freezer for every boat. This tactic, slow pitch jigging, was really created in Asia, where the fisheries are just so pressured, because of course there's so many billions of people, and regulations on the commercial side have been really weak for many, many years, so the fisheries there are just so depleted. So they've had to go further and deeper on the recreational side. So they came up with slow pitch jigging with specialized tackle designed to fish lures in areas where commercial fishermen are not fishing and where traditional recreational anglers couldn't reach before. And over the years, they've created very, very specialized tackle, which for the most part is still very challenging to get your hands on. There's not a lot of off-the-shelf rod manufacturers that are making slow pitch gear. You know, there's an opportunity to get your hands on slow pitch tackle, either imported from overseas. We're building and retailing our own line of slow pitch tackle, of slow pitch rods, you know, only because we couldn't get them. You know, we couldn't really find what we were looking for. So we decided to custom make our own set of slow pitch tackles. Reels are easy, very easy. Maxell, Daiwa, Accurate. There's a lot of leading manufacturers that have great jigging reels. Okay, a lot of options there. On the rod side, Tsunami, Maxell also have some mid-price slow pitch tackle. Temple Reef, popular brand. Some of the stuff from overseas, like beat rods, almost impossible to get your hands on. And then, like I said, the final option is just custom built slow pitch rods, which probably is the best option, truthfully, because you get exactly what you're looking for. You know, absolute top-notch blanks, Fuji, titanium Torzite guides. And guides are really important, quality guides, when you're fishing this ultra-thin PE line. That's another reason you'll see that our slow pitch rods are acid wrapped. Acid wrap meaning spiral wrap. The guides start up on the top and end on the bottom. And just find that rhythm. You can see I'm just slowly moving that jig, you know? It's not rigorous. It's not, you know, strenuous like high-speed vertical jigging is. It's a different animal altogether from beginning to end. Your whole mindset has to change, not only on how you're fishing and where you're fishing, but the technique itself, how you're holding that rod, how you're fighting fish. Everything is different. Out here in the deep, you know, again, we're fishing relatively deep water day. We're jigging at over 400 feet. And as we were mentioning, the difference between the slow pitch tackle versus the high-speed vertical jigging tackle that a lot of guys are really accustomed to is that vertical jigging gear, you're typically fishing spinning tackle, and your spinning reels aren't going to hold as much line as your typical conventional reels. So on the slow pitch side, you can typically fish deeper because you've got extra line capacity. That's certainly a benefit there. And the cool thing about this look at that, this PE line is it's silent. It's so round and smooth that, unlike conventional braid that you often hear going through the guides, with the PE line, it's just absolutely silent. Still not those 20-pounders, but look at that bend in that rod. You know, you can see now that blank, how parabolic it is, how soft, how fast it is. There it is. This guy doesn't want to give up. And then once I get to the leader, you know, either you can use a net, of course you can use a gaff. You certainly don't want to try flipping fish with this sort of tackle. What I like to do is I just kind of back off on the drag or just put in free spool a little bit, and I grab the leader. There we go. Tell you what, while we unhook this guy, let's check out our captain's kitchen. I'm going to show you how to make some absolutely delicious and really, really simple sashimi out of fresh blackfin tuna. Check it out, you're going to love it.
Captain's Kitchen, brought to you by Pelagic, high-performance offshore gear.
Hi, I'm Captain Mike, and welcome to this episode's Captain's Kitchen. Today I want to show you how I prefer to enjoy fresh blackfin tuna, a really simple sashimi. For starters, make sure that you start off with the freshest piece of tuna that you can get your hands on, preferably caught that day. Make sure that you trim the piece really well, no skin, no dark meat, no gack on it whatsoever. Next, find that grain in that fish. It's very, very simple to see. You can see the grain running through the meat, and you want to make sure that you slice your tuna across the grain. That's going to ensure that you get the softest, most tender piece of fish. Okay. Also, I like to slice my tuna very thin. Again, I like that buttery, tender flavor, so very, very thin. From there, I like to serve it with some fresh avocado, a little bit of cucumber, of course, some fresh ginger, wasabi, citrus flavored ponzu sauce, really important. It's gonna give it a nice little tang. I sprinkle a little bit of sesame seed, both regular toasted sesame seed and some black sesame seed over top of the tuna. And then before I serve it, just a little bit of a dash or a little bit of a squirt of Japanese yum yum sauce. It's just pretty much a Japanese mayo with a little bit of a kick. Serve that to your family, to your friends, and I'll tell you what, they're absolutely gonna love fresh blackfin tuna.
The award-winning Z Performance line from CV raises the bar. It's not just fast. It's not just fuel efficient. The CVZ is the entire package. It offers the perfect balance, safe, predictable handling during hard turns and at high speed. And most importantly, the Z stays on plane at lower speeds, so it can comfortably handle anything Mother Nature can dish out. Experience the exhilarating ride of the CVZ. Schedule a sea trial today.
Boats get dirty, that's a fact. Thankfully, Rejuvenate Marine uses patented nanotechnology to make your boat cleaning faster and easier, literally cutting your cleaning time in half. Watch this. With highly concentrated biodegradable ingredients across their complete line of cleaning and care products, Rejuvenate Marine lasts longer while providing professional cleaning power that's safe for all surfaces and for the environment. Rejuvenate Marine, spend more time fishing and less time cleaning.
What if navigating was as simple as touch and go? It is that simple. The world's first multi-touch MFD chart plotter, Navnet TZ Touch.
Joey Accardi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram reminds you that before you can do this, you have to do this. And before you can do that, you're going to need this. Save thousands on every new Ram truck at Joey Accardi in Pompano Beach. Family owned and operated, and bringing South Florida our best deals for over 25 years. So before you can do this. And before you can do this, you have to do this. Visit JoeyAccardiCDJR.com.
To me, it's all in the wrist. Everything is right in that wrist right there. You're moving the rod, holding the reel. All of the action that you're imparting is right there in that wrist. I've got everything tucked in tight. I've got that rod butt tight under my arm. So it's almost a triangular motion between the hand on the reel here, on the handle, this hand holding the reel and the blank, and then the rod tucked in under your arm. It just gives you the greatest level of sensitivity. It really is an extension of your body. And it'll take you time to find that perfect position that works for you. And I picked it back up and I was dropping it back down and he ate it on the way down. Literally ate it as it was falling. Maybe about 200 feet down. That's the cool thing again about these slow pitch jigs, is because they pitch and wobble and, you know, swim the way that they do. It's not uncommon for a fish to eat it as it's falling. Look at that rod tip. What do you think that is? What kind of fish do you think that is, huh? If that's not the telltale sign of
Sushi.
Blackfin tuna. And take your time, you know, you can, even though these rods are so light and soft, there are a few fish that, within reason of course, that you can't land on a slow pitch outfit. You're not gonna get hung up in the bottom, you're in open water. So as long as you just take your time, fight that fish cautiously, enjoy the fight. I mean, again, there's not much you can't catch.
I hope he's bigger than your last one.
I hope so too, because that last one was really small.
I wasn't sure which one was the jig, the fish or the jig.
You know, like I said, you can't decide what size fish eats the jig, and that's the problem. There's so many of these smaller ones, but you just keep sticking with it, you know, keep putting in the time and you're gonna pick off some bigger fish. It's inevitable, happens every time.
Yep. That's what's cool, you don't know what size fish
You
you're
don't
gonna
know
get.
what size. There we go. Completely different coloration on this guy than the other fish. A lot less gold. Starting to come out on him a little bit right there. But I mean, what an absolutely awesome predator. Those fins just fold in like that up on top, and the pec fins on the side. Just like a bullet racing through the water. Incredible eyesight. We'll get you off these hooks here, pal. Had both, look at that, both hooks jammed in there. Wasn't going anywhere. Sometimes you'll get all 4 hooks in them, sometimes 1 hook. You don't know. And we'll see you later. Little 5-pounder. Needs about another 20 on him. Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Need a gap?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a good one. Got it.
Well, better.
A little bit better.
Little better.
Okay.
Got him?
Yep. A little bit better. Not giant, but at least he's got a little bit of weight to him. Hey, I'll tell you what, guys. Let's take a break from the action for a second. Let's check out our rigging station. I want to talk to you in detail about jig designs, when to fish which style and weight jig, and more importantly, where to get your jigs. You know, they're not easy to come by, these slow pitch jigs. They're not readily available everywhere, but I'm gonna tell you where you can get hooked up, so stick around. Nice job, dude, nice.
Rigging Station, brought to you by Diamond Fishing, the finest monofilament, fluorocarbon, and braided fishing line.
Jig selection, one of the biggest challenges when it comes to slow pitch jigging because there's just so many options out there. Let's start off with size. 150 to 250 grams is gonna cover about 90% of all of the jigging venues. Anywhere from 100 feet on out to 500 feet. That size range of 150 to 250 is key. If you're fishing deeper water, don't be afraid to bump it all the way up to 400 grams. There's times we're fishing 400, 450 grams out in 800 to 1,000 feet of water. The shape of the jig is also vital. If you don't have a lot of current, there's not a lot of current, the boat's not drifting very fast, go with something that's wider, fatter, something like the Seafloor Control Rector. Taddy makes another big, wide, fat jig. Leaf-shaped jigs, that's the key. They're leaf-shaped, they're concave, they pitch off like crazy, and they wobble like crazy. If you're dealing with deep water and a lot of current, certainly you want something that's longer and more slender. It's gonna fly through the water to penetrate those depths quicker. Color, another very important factor. I really think it's more important to fish the right shape and size jig and to fish it properly versus exactly what color it is. But it's always a good idea to have different shades. You certainly can't go wrong with any sort of natural pattern patterns that have a scale-like finish. Make sure it has some glow. You can see all of these jigs, even this bright orange one here, has some glow bands across it. I find that to be absolutely vital. All of our jigs, regardless of style, shape, or color, they're all rigged with 2 assist hooks. One set up on the top of the jig and another set of 2 assist hooks on the bottom of the jig. So there are 4 hooks on each jig. Those hooks are connected to split rings, which are connected to the welded eye right on the jig itself. A lot of different places where you can get your hands on these jigs. Amazon, believe it or not, sells a wide variety of jigs. Jiggingworld.com makes some knockoffs of some of the leading brands of jigs. They're real effective and affordable as well. MaltaTackle.com over in the Mediterranean is a great resource for the high-end seafloor control jigs. And certainly some of the local tackle shops in your area will carry them as well. Always experiment, always have a variety of jigs with you, but when you find success, stick with that jig because it's gonna pay off time and time again.
Florida Sport Fishing is the #1 magazine for resident and visiting anglers. Each giant issue is packed with informative editorials, easy-to-follow illustrations, and tips to keep you hooked up. Subscribe today, and I'll deliver the magazine to your home for only 4 cents a day. Visit FSFTV.com right now, and I'll also include a hat, unlimited access to Florida Sport Fishing Digimag for your tablet and phone, and a special gift to keep you cool on and off the water.
It's your turn to score big. Book a long-range adventure aboard the legendary Yankee Captains. Fish virgin waters more than 100 miles offshore for exotic queen snapper, trophy tilefish, monster grouper, and more. With a lifetime of experience, let Captain Greg Mercurio and his dedicated crew put you on a hot bite. Fish around the clock or just relax. With full galley and huge fish boxes, all you'll need to bring is your appetite for action. Now sailing from Key West year-round.
Florida Sport Fishing TV proudly utilizes and endorses Lindgren Pittman, purpose-built, high-capacity 12 and 24-volt electric deep drop, dredge, and daytime swordfish reels. #1 in design, ease of use, reliability, and power. Boat Outfitters, where owners and builders go for replacement parts and hard-to-find hardware. Salt Life Optics, anti-glare Zeiss lenses, provide unparalleled protection and polarization. Taco Marine, official outrigger system of Florida Sport Fishing TV.
Made a move, came in here on some of these wrecks in around 250 feet of water, 225 to 250, and switched it up. And what we're doing now, at least for a few minutes, is some high-speed vertical jigging on these wrecks. And you can see the tackle is completely different than the slow pitch gear. We're fishing spinning outfits, larger spinning reels, a Daiwa Isla size 5000, loaded with 30-pound braid. Different jigs. These are Williamson, Benthos, and Abyss. High-speed jigs, single hook. So really everything is different. How you work the jig, how you work the tackle. You know, again, you can, what is that? What's that little juvenile blackfin. These tunas are everywhere. They're out in the deep, they're on the wrecks. But this just goes to show you, when it comes to these footballs, jig fishing is just incredibly effective, regardless if it is the slow pitch jigging or vertical jigging. Let's get this guy off the hook, and another little football. You can see, look, different jig altogether, designed to move through the water fast, right up through the water column. Single hook, and that hook is always on top. If you're gonna fish a single hook, it's always gonna be right at the top of the lure, not on the bottom. Let's let this guy go. I like when we're fishing these depths, 225, 250, 275, and there's some wrecks in the area, I like to make sure that jig hits the bottom. I want to fish the entire water column, but I'm not going to keep that jig close to the bottom. I'm going to work it all the way back to the surface. Just a little bit faster, using the rod and the reel together. And again, you find that rhythm. You can do this all day as well. It's not really rigorous or strenuous once you find that rhythm. When you start going like this and crazy, and a lot of people do that who are inexperienced with jigging, they just can't seem to get into that perfect rhythm, and that's what tires you out. They over jig, maybe that's a great way to say it.
Ready?
Got it? Yep.
It's coming at you. Definitely a tuna.
Is it?
He's shaking his head and his tail.
Yeah. Tell you what, guys. Hope you had a great time fishing with us today. We came out to do some jig fishing. We had a ball catching a bunch of football blackfins on the slow pitch gear out in some deeper water. Transitioned, came inshore to fish this series of wrecks, switched it up to the high-speed vertical jigging. And I'll tell you, both have just been an absolute ton of fun. They're great tactics.
Grab that leader.
Another little football blackfin, man. How many of these things have you caught today? I mean, you can't even count them.
I'm not really sure.
Right? I mean, that's the epitome right there of a little football, that's for sure. So make sure you've got jigging in your arsenal. You know, make sure you get the right gear, a variety of different jigs. Like I said, not something you're gonna do every day, but it's a great tactic for kids, for novices, for pros alike. I mean, to put fish in the boat, to keep a rod bent, you know, there's so many days where that jig fishing is gonna outproduce everything else. We even had a couple dozen, you know, live baits and never had a bite on a single bait.
All on the live baits.
No bait, no bites on the bait at all day. Every single fish we caught has been on the jig.
Yep.
And, you know, we never found those bigger fish that we were looking for, but still a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
A lot of fun. So, hey, we'll see you next week.
To learn more about the tactics and techniques seen on today's show and to subscribe to Florida Sport Fishing Magazine, visit floridasportfishing.com and get hooked up.